no one here in this house where I live, this spread of rooms, is willing to drive freeways. Not my brother, not my other brother, not even my mom, although I think she would if it were a life or death emergency. See, driving freeways is a pretty big deal in life. It pretty much determines your prospects. Even if you drive freeways poorly, it's the willingness to drive them at all that really gives you an advantage over someone like me who just can't handle all that chaos out there, all that traffic. See, what I mean is, all I was doing was, I was just sitting there at my laptop, just tooling around with this idea for an upload, and I opened my mouth wide to test this laugh, and the next thing I know is my jaw's gone. It's this random dislocation. There's this panic where I can't move or talk or anything. So in order to understand what happened, you'd have to have a certain mindset about outcomes, about how life works, about how you think the world operates. So, what I decided to do is, what I decided my best option was, is I pushed my jaw back into place. It didn't hurt, but I had this uneasy feeling that my jaw just wasn't quite right. So, what I did next was I ended up in the driveway. That's where my dad was. He just pulled up. He was here to take my brother to a doctor's appointment. See, my dad, he's the only person in the family who's willing to drive freeways, but he doesn't live here. And I think that's why I didn't bother to tell him about my jaw. I mean, I was standing right there in front of him, but I didn't bother to tell him that I was worried. In order to understand why someone like me thinks that the world operates in a manner that favors people who are prone to drive freeways. The world, it rewards people who are prone to take risks. It's this game of chance, this toying with outcomes. If you are someone like me who just can't get themselves to spin that wheel because every outcome is just bad, see, it's just not easy to steer when you're under the pressure to choose the right action, when the peril is real. The worst thing that could happen, it isn't just chaos. You could die. It's just easier to manage chaos when that chaos is contained in your world. The predominant attitude in the world is that if people can't get out there and drive freeways, well, it's seen as a defect. And society, it proposes that there's a fix for defects. I don't want a fix. I don't see myself as defective. Society, it is built for people who are willing to get out there and steer. And if a person won't steer, society, it penalizes those who evade convention. I just want to live a life that accommodates who I am, and if that means burrowing indoors to avoid the chaos out there in the world, then I'd like to have the opportunity to burrow without penalty. The world, it imposes these expectations, and these expectations, they reward those who are prone to get out there and engage. That world, it just isn't designed to reward those who prefer to stay indoors and navigate freeways their own way.